Hi everyone, Wade Eger. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Platformance, which is an AdTech player in the region. Grateful to be here at Digital Media Forum. I had the privilege just to speak on stage, talking about AI and empathy in marketing.
Wade, it's great to have you also at the pop-up studio, where we are taking as a side stage, exploring some of the topics a little bit deeper. And I'd like to ask you one question that we probably didn't cover at the stage, and that was about the traditional marketing funnel. So we keep on hearing that traditional marketing funnel has either changed a lot or has been completely removed by AI and the chaos that is happening in the creators' economy. Mm-hmm. So is that an overhyped claim? So what's your take on that?
Definitely an overhyped claim. Marketing is evolving, marketing is changing, but the key is marketing. So marketing is still marketing, right? And I think we're getting a lot of people that have lost the art of marketing. I saw a stat recently that only 30% of marketers are actually classically trained or actually have a degree in marketing. So we have a lot of people that come into this industry, pick up a skill set, and then think that that is marketing, and it's only one element of marketing. So yes, the funnel is evolving. Yes, it's changing, but awareness is still awareness. Conversion is still conversion. And just how we do it, we're doing it augmentedly now with a lot more speed because we're integrating the technology that we're doing. But the principle of marketing hasn't changed.
So are you happy or are you concerned about the way AI is disrupting almost every area? And marketing is basically one of the areas that has been disrupted a lot.
I've always been an early adopter and I love technology, so I jump on board whenever it's available and try to utilize it. So I'm not afraid of it. I see changes that are happening. One of the things that I've noticed, you just have to look at LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is the great example of this, where you see that sameness coming through. We talk about it through the lens, and I mentioned it on stage, augmented creative intelligence. And it comes down to the person. If you are curious, if you've got knowledge, if you've got experience, then you're going to deliver great work utilizing AI. Augmentation, 1 + 1 = 3. So I see the hype that's sitting around AI. I think AI it's broken out into many different facets, and it goes back to the different roles within marketing. You can use AI for analytics. That is completely different than how you use AI for creativity. So you have to look at it in its instance and saying, are we creating a lot of the sameness, or are we able to use it? And I would say it comes down to the individual. So if you've got a really smart and intelligent individual, they will use AI to the power that it should be used for. If you're an average person or you're trying to claim that hype and sitting around it, you'll see what you're seeing on LinkedIn.
So what is one aspect of of the funnel of, let's say, of the ad tech experience, let's say, you would never give to algorithm or to AI tools, let's say? Yes.
So we leave nothing to AI right now as of today. Maybe it is going to change in 6 months' time. We were just talking about this earlier, just off camera, which is every model upgrade, I get a 30% boost. Right, I get a 30% boost every time it's gone from 5.1 to 5.2, from 4 to 5. I get this significant productivity boost. I have less hallucinations that are coming through. The quality of the work that's coming through is even stronger. And it's only going to get better and better and better. However, on saying that, the way we like to look at it and the way we use it at Fast Ventures is it starts with a human, we then use technology, and then it ends with a human.
So how is it changing your team?
The speed at which we move, the amount of work that we're able to take on board. So one of the challenges that we're facing, we're doubling in size year on year as a business. So in order to double in size, you have two ways you can do that. You can double the amount of people as well, right? You can say, well, we're doubling the revenue, double the people, double the clients, double. Or you can actually take a hard look at yourselves and saying, right, what can we do differently? What is the processes, the business processes where we're seeing bottlenecks? And can we use tools like AI and automation, right? So I look at it, there's automation using the likes of Zapier and being able to say, right, go step 1, step 2, step 3. And then what we look at is intelligent automation. Can we put an AI brain over the top of it that can then move through? We talk about hyper-personalization. I heard that a few times. If you look at what personalization was before AI, it was hello, first name, email all the same,
Yeah.
maybe the name of your company down, but then, with respect, Wade. And that was personalization. I'll throw a product in here, but 95% of the email or the personalization was generic.
Yeah, that's true.
But we made it out as
was annoying,
hyper-personal. Yeah, we made it out that it was hyper-personalization because we changed the color.
Yeah.
We found out. What's happening now is you're able to take the whole email now and use the brain and actually respond using AI. Now, again, it's not quite there yet. It's on its way, and you still need the human. So you're seeing a lot of the companies put it into drafts, but not send it out automatically going out. So they still want to review it first. But what it's doing is allowing a lot of people to get rid of that heavy lifting, right? And to be able to then focus on the things that matter. So I see what AI is doing for a lot of people, especially inside of my organization, is it's giving more time to think, right? And less time doing, because we're outsourcing the doing to the AI and to the automations.
So I was going to ask you if you have, you as an organization have you transformed any of the processes as augmented processes in the last, let's say, year?
Yeah, significantly. I think we were blessed. We're just coming on to 3 years old. AI has only really started to become a business process in about that time. Wasim Afzal, who's our CEO, he made the decision early that we will build inside of AI. So AI is enabled inside of the organization and it's not bolted on. So everything that we have, we've actually got our own teams, our own development teams who work in-house. And so they go through and look at all of these different processes and then work out how do we augment them and make them better. A simple example is, especially if you look at it through the lens of an agency, the post-campaign analysis, pulling in all of the different data from Meta, from Google, from programmatic, and then trying to analyze all of that, then to write the post-campaign analysis report to ship it off to the client. That used to take a lot of people many days worth of work.
Yeah.
You can now do that utilizing AI and get that now done within minutes. You still want the human to look over it, but it's pulling it down and it's putting it onto Google Slides, it's putting it onto a slide deck, and then you're just looking at it and saying, okay, how can I make it better? But gone are the days of having to pull all of this together, individually, one by one, or step by step. And that's what we're seeing is we're able to do a lot more. There's that element of it where it's about process. So we're using AI for a lot of process. It's the sexy things there. But then on the other side of it, we have a creative shop team that sits inside of Platformance called Lion, and they build everything out of AI. And again, what I'm seeing here is that it still requires a lot of creativity, and the people that we're hiring aren't really that different than what you would see in a creative agency. It's just they're using different tools, right? They're gone of just using Adobe, right? They're now using Nano Bananas and everything like that. But the creative brain, there are creative people, the people who take art rather than who do maths.
It's an interesting point that you've just mentioned, because it used to be when hiring a creative resource to an agency that for whom it's critical to have a strong team to be able to deliver the strong campaign to the client. And it used to be like, can you work with Adobe, and how literate are you, let's say, at these particular tools? When now you get a resource who is really great, let's say, at tools like Nano Banana you've mentioned or whatever, does it actually add the credibility, or is it still something like, okay, so this guy probably explored some of AI tools, but I still need the classical person with the classical skills. So what's your sort of, do you have sort of
So my background, so I've been marketing for 28 years, and I've always been on the brand side. So I used to be the chief marketing officer for First Up at Eber Bank, looked after the consumer side of things there, and all throughout my career I'd always worked inside on the brand side. I can only wear that hat because I've never worked inside of an agency, but I've always expected my agencies to challenge me. And I look for agencies who know how to think, not know how to do, right? I hate yes men, and I hate people that just do it. So coming back now to answer your question, my expectation and what I push our creative shop in doing is saying, I need you to think outside of the box, and I need you to go beyond that. And if you look at inside of creative agencies, like when I first started in agencies, they were scamp boards. You would actually line up scamp boards all around the room, and then you'd walk in and a creative guy would start, and they were all drawings. Here's scene 1, here's scene 2, here's scene 3. Then those scam boards got evolved where they were more image-based rather than just drawings. And now there are actual videos now coming through because you just go into the AI and it's like, here's the storyboard that we're building and it's got the emotion in it. It's not perfect because we haven't put your brand in or anything like that. So again, it's visualizing things a lot better. But again, the process hasn't changed.
The process hasn't changed. And so one of the probably final questions to wrap it up. So what do you want the Digital Media Forum audience stay with after listening to this conversation?
My advice would be learn marketing. Learn marketing for what it truly is, right? Go back to understanding what is the definition of marketing, what is the definition of a brand and how does it work. Stop getting involved in tactics and trying to be tactical. When you understand that marketing is a process, it starts with research, it goes into segmentation, targeting, positioning, and if you don't know that, go off and learn all of that. When you learn that process, then you're able to use AI to be able to say, right, for this statement here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it to actually pull through all of this data and look through it and give me a good answer that then I can look into make sure that it's right. So I'm a bit old school in that way, which is I want all my teams to learn marketing. And then the AI or just technology in general allows it to just to advance and advance much better and much faster. So I see, what's taking me, I'm 49 years old now, and it's taken me this long to learn. I expect the next generation to be sort of 35 years old to 30 years old and have the same amount of knowledge that I have.
That's great. And I've now remembered the question that I wanted to ask before the final one. How do you think the creators economy then, and that's I'm actually challenging you with this question because it's not traditional. The creators economy is something that disrupts the traditional marketing a lot because there's you can't control the standard there. But it's a different model. It's an attention model. It's somebody who's using attention as the currency. So how do you think brands and traditional industries need to embrace or leverage that particular disruption?
Yeah, look, that's a really good question, right? So here's my take on it. We've got a whole creator team that works alongside it. But again, I take a step back. It is a new industry. It's been around for sort of 6 or 7 years properly, and now it's starting to gain a bit more momentum. It was the wild, wild west, right? And now you're seeing a lot more structure coming into it, and it's only going to get more and more structured as it starts to mature. And that's the same with anything. Retail media is the next big hype at the moment. And again, as it starts to mature, so you've got Amazon leading the charge, and they've become quite mature on that front. And so I see the same that's happening inside of the creator economy. But again, right, you're still asking them, whether it's attention or awareness, right? But how, for all creators, marketing 101, right? Distinction matters more than differentiation. So what makes you distinct as a creator or an influencer? And then how can you as a brand leverage that distinction to make sure that you have, and I hate that word authenticity, right? But making sure that it is as close to the brand as possible. So again, I don't see it being any different than what it is. It's just taking a bit more time to mature. But it is significantly matured over the last couple of years.
But I think you've just nailed it. Distinction is the core of the creators economy, right? So we are monetizing distinction, finally, officially, legally monetizing that particular space. It's just that it's very diverse. It's the question how the maturity comes probably from how to find the right creator, the right person for the right brand. It's the matching mechanism that needs to mature, I guess.
Well, it's the flow right through, right? So that's one stage, but you have to be able to measure success. So, I have a simple philosophy is you cannot sell advertising. Advertising sells itself because it either works or it doesn't. So when I look at my P&Ls that I've run and someone comes up and suggests creators, I know what my marketing does and I know how I've budgeted out my marketing for the year, and I'm going to try something. And then there's going to be a set of metrics in my head that I need it to achieve. And if it does achieve it, then I'm going to give it more money. And if it doesn't, I'll give it less. And I think that's what you're saying is that we're starting to see technologies like ourselves and others that are starting, they're trying to piece the puzzle together so that it goes beyond just impressions. It goes beyond just engagement. And it's really starting to look at how are we able to do that? And you can see a lot of strategy now that's coming out, right? Where, especially for ourselves, we start to work with the mega influencers, but then we use the nanos and the micros to amplify the voice. And so 1 + 1 then equals 3.
Yeah.
So there's just multiple different ways. It's really starting to mature, and it's starting to get really exciting, and you're starting to actually see impact happen for brands as well.
That's great. It's really encouraging to hear that, especially when for YouTubers, for example, for those who are trying to grow the channels on YouTube and have an impact. It's been great, insightful, and thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, everyone.